Good morning, children. Welcome to the class. See, in the last class, we were discussing about the features of perfect competition. Let me just have a small recap of the features. More number of buyers and more number of sellers are there in a perfect competitive market. As a result of that, the individual buyer or the seller, they are only price takers and they are not price makers. Next is only same products, homogeneous products are being sold in a perfectly competitive market, and apart from that uniform price prevails in the market. That is, unit 1 is also if the price of tomato is rupees 10, when 1 unit of tomato is sold, it is the same price 10 rupees, and even if 100 units of tomatoes are sold, it will be sold at the same 10 rupees only. That is the meaning of uniform price. Next is free entry and free exit. Any firm, if in the for example, if there are hundreds of firms in an industry, if that particular industry is doing good, earning good amount of profit, means any number of any new firm can enter into the industry. At the same time, if any existing firm is sustaining any loss, it can also quit the industry. That is the meaning of free entry and exit. The next is absence of transport costs. Since uniform price prevails in the market, it is assumed that there is no transportation cost involved in fixation of the prices. Next is perfect mobility of factors of production. See, it is assumed that any factor of production can be utilized for or can move from one production process to any other production process. See, for example, a laborer working in the chemical industry, he can just move on to another industry, textile industry also, or he can quit that profession and totally change to some other profession also. Likewise, capital which is invested in for example, telephone industry, if there is loss in that, they can use the capital for some other industry where they feel profit is there. So mobility of factors of production is also there. And the next is perfect knowledge of the market. Both the buyer and the seller, they have perfect knowledge about the quality of goods, the quality of the product that is prevailing in the market, the price that is prevailing in the market. The last one is no government intervention. The government does not intervene in fixing the price of the commodity. These are then what else decides the price of the commodity then? It is only the demand condition and supply condition that will decide the price of the commodity. So price determination is being done only by what? The demand and the supply. Now, why did I give you a small recap of this is the next topic, that is firm's equilibrium in the short run. That is, at what price, at what quantity does the equilibrium is obtained in case of a perfect competitive market. We are going to learn that topic. For this, 100% you need to have a recap of what are the features of perfect competition. Now, having said the features of perfect competition, already in the previous classes I've told you about what is short run and what is long run. Short run means it is a time period where at least a few factors of production will be fixed factors. That is, capital, land and building you cannot change, plant and machinery you cannot change. So there will be few factors which will be kept fixed. You can only increase the other factors to increase the output. See, for example, there is all of a sudden there is a good demand for some certain commodity. What the supplier can do is, he cannot immediately alter his land building, or he cannot increase the land size from 100 acres to immediately he cannot purchase one more acre of land and do the cultivation. That is not possible. But increasing the labor is possible. Increasing of raw material is possible. So likewise, there are certain factors which will be fixed during short period. There are certain factors which will be variable during the short period. So accordingly, the price will be fixed according to the supply and demand conditions. So let us see under the perfect competition. It is for example, let me just take you to the graphical explanation. See, this is assumed to be a perfect competition. We are going to find out under a perfect competitive situation during the short run, what is the price and output, how the price and output is being determined in the short run in a perfect competitive market. For that, we have to, I cannot take the book because I cannot draw over the existing diagram. So in the x-axis, we take output, and in the y-axis, we take price, revenue, cost. When we draw the demand and supply line, we take the price here. Normally, all of us know that the demand curve is always a downward sloping curve. So let me draw a demand curve which is a downward sloping curve, and I mark it as D. D is a downward demand curve. And what is the nature of the supply curve? It is always an upward sloping curve. I mark it as S. In the question or in the assumed example, now we need to find out what is this point E, that is the equilibrium point E, that is at which point, okay, the equilibrium is arrived at the point of intersection of the demand curve and supply curve. We need to find out at what price the equilibrium is obtained and the equilibrium quantity of output is also obtained, having given the equation of the function of the demand curve and the supply curve. In as per the example taken, they have given the demand curve, that is the equation of the demand curve to be, what have they given? QD is equal to 100 minus 5P. This is the equation of the demand curve. And the supply curve is given to be as QS is equal to 5P. Having given these two functions, that is the demand function and supply function. Demand function is what? 100 minus 5P. P here represents price. That is, for a change in price, what is the change in quantity demanded, we need to find. And the supply function is given to be QS is equal to 5P. Now, we are going to find out what at equilibrium point, what is the price and what is the quantity that is demanded, because we know that at equilibrium point the quantity demanded will be equal to the quantity supplied. That is the equilibrium point, that is where the demand is equal to supply. Now with the given function we will be able to find the value of P and the value of phi. Now let me take you to the explanation part. Now it is given that QD is given to be, what is a function of what is a demand function? It is given to be 100 minus 5P. And QS is given to be, let me take it like this, children. QS is given to be, what is QS? It is given to be 5P. All of us know that at equilibrium, quantity demanded is equal to quantity supplied, which means 100, quantity demanded is what? 100 minus 5P is equal to, what is quantity supplied? It is 5P. Now what I do is, I take both the 5 P's to one side and the constant I take it to the other side. When I take this minus 5P to this side, I get 100 is retained here. 100 is equal to, already one 5P is there. This minus 5P, when I take it to the other side, it becomes plus 5P. Now 5P plus 5P, it will be 10P is equal to 100. Now retain price on this side, P is equal to 100. This multiplication, when it goes to the other side, it becomes division. So this, when you simplify this, you will be getting 10, which means price is equal to rupees 10. Okay, which means the equilibrium price is taken to be 10. At this price, let us see what is the quantity demanded and supply. Now, quantity demanded, I shall do it here. QD, what is the function? 100 minus 5P. Now, substitute P is equal to 10 in the above equation. Now, what will you get here? QD is equal to 100 minus 5 into 10, which will be 100 minus 5 tens are 50. 100 minus 50, it will be 50, which means quantity demanded is equal to 50 units. Okay. Now, let us see what will be the quantity supplied. It should be 50 units only. Quantity supplied, the function is given to be 5P. Now, you substitute P is equal to 10 here. Now, quantity supplied will be 5 into 10, which will be 50, which means 50 units. Now our answer is correct, which means at equilibrium, okay, quantity demanded is equal to quantity supplied, which is equal to 50 units. Now having got this answer, substitute it in the diagram. Just not substituting, write it in the diagram. This is the equilibrium point. We have arrived at the at the point of intersection of the demand curve and the supply curve lies the equilibrium point, which means at this particular point quantity demanded is equal to quantity supplied. Demand is equal to supply. So with the function of demand function and supply function, we have arrived at what is the price here. What is the price that we have arrived here? 10 is the price of the equilibrium price, and at equilibrium point the quantity demanded is 50 units. This is the first diagram. Now having taken, so this will be the price which prevails in a perfect competitive market. Now we will be learning about what is the amount of profit earned by, we'll take two examples. We'll take firm 1. What is the profit that is earned by firm 1 under a perfect competitive market, that is price being given here. Now under a perfect competitive market, price remains same. So this line, demand curve, is nothing but the price line, where I take it to be the demand curve. Since price remains to be the same, my AR, my price line, is also my average revenue curve, or otherwise this is my marginal revenue curve, which means when price remains constant, average revenue, marginal revenue curve coincides with each other, which we learnt in the previous chapter. And before this, I should tell you that we have taken price in the y-axis, revenue when we draw the revenue curve, cost when we draw the cost curve, and in the x-axis we have taken the output in the x-axis. Now let us draw the cost curve. Now here, what is the equilibrium price here? It is taken to be 10. 10 is the equilibrium price. Just now we arrived at here using the equation. Now let us draw the cost curve. All of us know the cost curve. The cost curves are U-shaped curves. Average cost curve. Now draw the average cost curve. Just write it as AC. Okay, now this is regarding the short run. If you want, you can write it as SAC also. In the book, it is given as AC only. If you want, you can write it as SAC also. SAC means short run average cost curve. Now, in the last class, we learnt about the relationship between the cost curve and marginal curve. Both curves are U-shaped. Okay, marginal cost curve will cut the average cost curve at the minimum point from below. Just mark the minimum point of AC. Now what you are going to do is, from below draw the MC curve. Mark it as MC, that is short run marginal cost. Now at what point is the equilibrium obtained? At the point where the equilibrium is at the point where MR is equal to MC. That is, we are following the marginal revenue, marginal cost approach. In the previous class, I remember talking to you about this. Equilibrium is obtained at the point where MR is equal to MC. Now coming to the graph, this line is MR. This line is nothing but my average marginal revenue, average revenue. And this is my MC. Now this particular point is the equilibrium point. Just mark it as E. Now at point E is nothing but this is the point where my MC and MR curve is intersecting. At that point only equilibrium is arrived. Now just drop this line down to find out what is the equilibrium output. And already we know that equilibrium output we have assumed to be we have taken to be 50. 50 units is the equilibrium output. Now we need to find what is the amount of profit that is enjoyed by firm 1. Okay. Now, just we all of us know that this is nothing but AR curve. AR curve is nothing but price line. Okay. Here what is the price? 10 rupees is the price of the commodity. But here when you see the cost curve is here. This is the AC curve. Now, let me, for my convenience, I shall mark this 50 units point to be, I'll take it as M. Okay. Now, EM is nothing but average revenue. Average revenue is nothing but price. Price is nothing but selling price. Otherwise, I call it a selling price also. Okay, at equilibrium, EM is my selling price, which is to be 10 rupees. Okay, and just see where it is cutting the cost curve. This is the cost curve. Okay, let me just mark this point to be F. This is again for my convenience only, children. If you want, you can mark it in your textbook also. No, it is marked to be B. Sorry, they have taken it to be B. Okay, at just see where this line touches the AC curve. It is touching at B. Now just extend this line and let it touch the y-axis. Okay, now this y-axis, some number lesser than 10. Let me take it as 8. Let me take it as 8. Now when you see EM is 10 rupees, it is marginal average revenue. BM is nothing but average cost. Okay, EM 10 rupees is my revenue, selling price. 8 rupees is my cost price. Then what is this then? This is nothing but my profit per unit. You can arrive at this in two ways. Now, what is the total amount of output that is sold? Total amount of output that is sold is 50 units. Total amount of output that is sold is 50 units. Okay, multiplied by what is the selling price average revenue? It is 10 rupees. So, totally 500 will be my total revenue. My total revenue will be how much? 500 rupees. Now let me find what is my total cost. Totally 500 units, 50 units are produced. Okay, 50 units are produced. The cost of my AC is nothing but average cost. Average cost is 8. So what is my total cost? 50 into 8, which is 400. So my total revenue is 500. My total cost is 400. What is the difference between TR and TC? This is nothing but profit. Okay, what is my profit? 100 rupees is the profit that is earned by the firm in the short run. Now when coming to this graph here, okay, this portion, this is 50. This is 10. 10 into 50, I get this whole portion. Okay, that is 500 rupees. Now, let me find the cost. 50 into 8. I get length into breadth. Simple formula. Length into breadth. 8 into 50. I get this portion. Now, when I subtract this portion from this, I get my profit, which is the shaded portion. That is O10EM is nothing but total revenue, which is 500. That is 10 into 50. O8BM is nothing but total cost, that is 8 into 50. Now when I subtract total revenue, I take away total cost, I get this portion, which is nothing but my profit. This is how you have to draw the diagram and find out the profit of firm 1 under a perfect competitive market during the short run. Okay. Now let us take another example, because all firms will not get the same profit. I'll take the example of firm 2. Okay. Now the price line will be the same as usual. In the y-axis, I take price. I take price in the y-axis. When I draw the revenue curve, I take revenue in the y-axis, and when I draw the cost curve, I take cost in the y-axis. Now, in the x-axis, we have taken output. Now, what is the nature of the demand curve in the case of a perfect competitive market? It is a horizontal line. As usual, it is a horizontal line. This line is nothing but my demand curve. It is nothing but average revenue, which is otherwise my marginal revenue. Okay, when AR remains constant at rupees 10, what is this price? It is 10 rupees. When AR remains constant, MR also remains constant, and it coincides with the MR curve. Now, we shall again draw the cost of firm 2, the average cost and marginal cost of firm 2. We have taken the second firm into consideration. Now, let us assume cost curves are always U-shaped curves. Now first I draw the cost curve, AC curve. Now I just draw, this is AC curve. Okay, AC, since it is pertaining to short run, I mark it as SAC. Now mark the just minimum point of AC. Approximately, I assume this to be the minimum point of AC. Now I draw the MC. MC curve should cut the AC curve from below. This is my MC curve. Since it is pertaining to short run, I rate it as SMC. Now where is equilibrium point? Equilibrium is at the point where the MC curve and MR curve is intersecting. The MR curve and MC curve is intersecting at this point. Now mark this as, in the textbook it is marked as E2. Just mark it as E2. Just drop this line down. Drop this line down. This point is nothing but our equilibrium quantity, 50 units. Just extend this up. Just see where it is touching the cost curve. It is touching the cost curve at R. Now extend this here. Just let it join the y-axis here. Now mark this is a point where definitely it should be more than 10. Let me assume to be 12. Okay. Now let us find what is the profit earned by firm 2 under perfect competitive market in the short run. Now when you see for this, let me first find out the total revenue here. Total revenue is what? Revenue is 10. That is, price of the commodity is 10. What is the cost here? The cost is assumed to be the total output that is sold is 50. Okay, when you see the cost here, the cost curve is touching here. At equilibrium, the cost is here. The cost is taken to be 12. What is for 50 units of output? The cost is 12. Whereas for 50 units of output, the revenue is 10. Now, it is easy for us to find out what is the profit. The same method we shall do here. Now, here it is taken to be, now let us find what is total revenue first. What is the number of total revenue is nothing but price into quantity. Here what is price? Price is taken to be 10 rupees. What is the quantity that is sold? 50 units. Now 10 into 50 is nothing but rupees 500 is the total revenue. Now let me find total cost now. Total cost. Total cost is nothing but cost into quantity that is produced. What is the cost here? 12 rupees is the cost. Into what is the number of units that is produced and sold? It is 50 units. So it will be 12 into 50. It is 600 rupees. Now here cost is more but the revenue is less. Now what is the profit or loss here? Definitely it is loss only. The loss is nothing but TR minus TC, because when TC is total cost is greater than total revenue, the firm incurs loss. Now what is the total loss incurred by the firm? It is 600 rupees minus 500 rupees, which will be 100 rupees is a loss that the firm gets during the short run. Now it is easy for us to find what is the loss here. See here, O, 12, R, let me take it as M here. Okay, M, this is nothing but total cost, that is 12 into 50, which is 600 is this total portion. Now revenue is what? 10 into 50, that is 500. This portion is nothing but total revenue. Now here total cost is more. From total cost, when I remove this, I get this shaded portion, which is nothing but loss incurred by the firm, by firm 2 during the short run in a perfect competitive market. Okay children, that is all. Now here, what will the firms that incur loss will do? See, imagine I am a businessman, you are firm 1 and I am firm 2. You are the entrepreneur running firm 1. You are getting a good profit. So what will happen? Seeing that you are earning good profit, more number of firms will be attracted towards the industry. So additionally, more number of firms will enter into the market. When more firms enter into the market, what will happen to the number of suppliers? The number of suppliers will increase from, for example, from 10 to it might increase to 15. Now coming to this position. I am the entrepreneur of firm 2. Now here I am sustaining loss. So what will I do? In the long run, in the short run, I cannot quit the industry because it is not possible to wind up my business in a very short period of time. So it will take for me quite a long period of time to wind up my business, dispose all my land and building, okay, and settle all my debtors and creditors. Settling everything will take only a long run. Now in the long run, what will I do? I will quit the industry because I cannot sustain the loss, because my cost is high, my revenue is very less. So I'll be sustaining loss. So firms like me will quit the industry when? During the long run. Now we have to find out what will happen for firms, okay, during the long run. Now as usual, I have taken price, revenue, cost in the y-axis, and likewise I have taken output in the x-axis. What is the nature of the demand curve in a perfect competitive market? It is a horizontal line. I mark it as, it can be demand curve, or it can be my average revenue curve, or it can be my marginal revenue curve, because price is same to be price remains the same in a perfect competitive market. Now again, what is the nature of the cost curve? It is a U-shaped curve. So in the long run, what will happen is that few firms enter into the industry, few firms quit the industry. As a result of that, the firms who are able to sustain in the business will be the firms whose average cost is equal to average revenue. Okay, there will be firms who are able to sustain in the industry only whose revenue will be equal to cost. So they'll be able to earn only normal profits. Here I cannot show you any shaded portion showing that this much is the amount of profit earned by the firms in the long run. This is long run. In the long run, firms can enter into the industry, exit the industry, you can start new business, okay, you can invest more amount of capital. Okay, all this can happen only in the long run. So in the long run, the nature of the curves will be like this. Okay, the long run average cost curve will be a boat shaped curve. The AC curve, the minimum point of AC curve will touch the AR curve, which means my revenue, average revenue is what? Price of the product. Average cost is what? Cost of production of 1 unit of commodity. My cost will be equal to my revenue, and at that point only equilibrium also will be there, which means at equilibrium what is equal to what? MR is equal to MC, because we are following the marginal approach only, marginal cost revenue approach only we are following. So at the equilibrium point, the firm, okay, there will not, the AR will be equal to AC, which will be equal to MR, which will be equal to MC. Okay, and the equilibrium price in the long run, the price also will not be high. The price also will be lesser than the short run price. In the short run, we found out the price to be equilibrium price to be 8. But in the long run, because more number of firms enter into the industry, what will happen? The supply of products will increase. When supply of products increases in the market, what will happen to the price? Automatically, it will fall down. Okay, as a result, the price will come to how much? It will come to a lesser number than the equilibrium price in the short run. Our equilibrium price in the short run was how much? 10 rupees. In the long run, it will be still more less. And our equilibrium quantity also, in the short run, it was 50. But in the long run, it will definitely be more only. Here, assumed number is taken to be 500. The reason why it is taken to be 500 is, in the long run, I told you, more number of firms will enter into the industry. As a result, what will happen? The total quantity of output that is being brought to the market will increase. That is the reason why when supply increases, what will happen? Automatically, to sell the excess supply, they have to reduce the price of the commodity. That is why in the long run, the price is also lesser. Okay, previously in the short run it was 10 rupees, but in the long run it is lesser than the short run price. And the quantity of output, okay, in the short run it was just 50, but in the long run more firms are coming into the industry. As a result, what is happening? There is price fluctuations also, more units also, but the demand in the long run keeps on changing only. It increases, population also will increase in the long run. As a result, quantity demanded also increases as so. Because of these reasons, in the long run, the quantity demanded and the quantity supplied also will increase. So, it is taken to be a higher value only. So, what is the equilibrium point? At what point is equilibrium attained during the long run? In the long run, at the equilibrium point, okay, the price is nothing but average revenue will be equal to average cost, which will be equal to marginal revenue, which will be equal to marginal cost. Okay, all this will happen when? During the long run, where the firm will be at equilibrium. Now with this, I think I shall finish today's class. Okay, now here you could see the answer here. Whatever I have explained here is given here. Okay, and under the perfect competitive market, long run equilibrium will be only where? At the minimum point of LAC. LAC is nothing but long run average cost. So at the point E, our marginal cost will be equal to marginal revenue, which will be equal to average revenue, which will be equal to average cost. That is why we have just drawn the line. Okay, we have just drawn this graph where at this point LAC, LMC, AR, MR, everything is intersecting. And the quantity of output is also more and the price is also lesser than the short run price. Okay, with this I am just concluding today's class, children. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.